Evening, people. It's a cold, wet old night in Portland. And what better thing to drink on a cold, wet night than a ice cold beer straight out of the fridge? Yep, that is the Australian way. Now I'm going to make Martian pizza. Great thing to have on a cold night, a warming, savoury pizza. Great stuff, and great with beer. So here we go. Get some flour in the tin. This is the famous 3/4 cup, Mr. Mars's 3/4 cup. I don't know what you like at maths, but I can tell you, 2 times 3/4 is 1.5. So it's 1.5 cups of flour. Now I could have used a 1 cup of flour and 1/2 cup, then I'd be dirtying two cups instead of 1. And the other thing is, then how would I measure the 3/4 of a cup of water that I need to put in to make the dough? How would I do that? You know, with a lot of difficulty. Alright, so we want a good heat dessert spoon of yeast. Nice heaped salt spoon of salt. Mix it up. Honestly, it's so easy. So bloody easy. Now I've just got to run some hot water here. I've got a instant gas hot water heater, so it takes a while for the hot water to get from the heater to the tap. It's got to run around the back of the house. Oh, it is. But it's here now, so it's all good. Alright, 3/4 of a cup of water. Got to be warm water. Quite warm, really, ideally. Anytime you're using yeast, temperature is critical, is always critical. Temperature, very, very important. Super important. Get too hot, you'll kill the yeast. Get it too cold, it won't do anything much. I mean, you can do the proper Italian way, which is to leave it overnight. Put it somewhere cool, leave it overnight. And, you know, under those conditions, it's going to be very slow to prove. Very slow indeed. And that's the way they like it. So they leave it overnight, and then most of the next day, and then they won't be starting to make pizzas until the afternoon or the evening. So you're looking at least 24 hours, maybe even more than 24 hours, depending on what time of the day they make their dough. And you know, if you want to do it the right way, do it the traditional way, and you want to spend a day plus 24 hours or more fucking around waiting to get a pizza, go for your life. I'm not going to stop you. That's the way you want to do it, you do it that way. But I'm not going to do it that way because I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait a day for a pizza like that. I want my pizza in an hour and a half, and that's what it's going to be. So this is Martian pizza. It's my recipe. I mean, other people do it. It's using typical Australian pizza toppings. You know, like you can see them there. We've got ham, we've got pepperoni, got anchovies, olives, pineapple, all traditional Australian pizza toppings. I mean, obviously the pineapple's not a traditional Italian pizza topping, but it's a great pizza topping. Really fantastic. As everyone knows who's eaten pizza with pineapple, it's bloody great. Right, so we do, that's nice and warm. I don't know, it's probably about 30 degrees far, probably 28 or something. So I'll just put that in the, just put it back in the bowl. And what I'm going to do is fill the sink, well not fill the sink, but I'm going to put hot water in the sink after I wash my hands. And I'm just going to float the dough in a bowl. I'm just going to let the bowl float in the hot water. So, you know, it's like a bain-marie. Not as hot as a bain-marie, but it'll just keep the dough happy. It won't burn it or anything, won't destroy it. It'll just keep it happy, it'll float around, and the dough will prove over the course of probably half an hour. Alright, feels about right. Just float. Oh, I'll just squash it down so that the heat can penetrate to the maximum surface area of the dough. And I'll just float that in the water. And have a sip of the suds, and I'll be back when it's proved, so about half an hour. Alright, it's been a while, probably not quite half an hour, but not far off it. So that's how much it's risen, quite a lot. So now we knock it back. Take it out of the tin. Knock it back. It's alright, it'll come back to life. We hope. Problem is the bench is a bit cool, which is not really what I want. So the dough's actually cooled down. Just from that, the dough's cooled down quite a bit. I mean, it feels good, but it's going to be pretty slow to rise now, I think. Anyway, yeah, feels good. Feels interesting. Maybe I'll just stretch it a bit more. Just a bit more. Yeah, it's got that, it's sticking together pretty well. Yeah, pretty well. It's got a fair bit of structure there. Fair bit of structure. Falling apart. One thing you can do, I mean, you can do various things with the dough. You can pull it, you can roll it, you can do the pizza twist. You know, the pizza twist. You really want to have your dough a bit bigger. Maybe this dough, it seems very, this dough is very kind of strong actually. Like it doesn't want to expand particularly. A bit hard to work with. If the dough's getting a bit hard to work with, you can always just roll it out. And honestly, rolling it out is okay. It might not be the traditional, but a lot of Italians roll their pizza dough. So I might actually do that for this time. It depends a lot. Pizza is very, very sensitive to temperature. You know, conditions are very, very, very important. Yeah, I might do that. So just get a rolling pin. Some dough. Roll it out. As I say, it's not the ideal. Probably most Italian pizzerias, they wouldn't do it like this. They wouldn't use the rolling pin. But a lot of them do too, you know, it just depends. If you do it, if you use the rolling pin, you get a nice even thickness. A nice even thickness. It's good. Yeah, see, that's just the right size. So what we're going to do now is put some olive oil in it. Not too much. We don't want it swimming in oil, but we don't want it sticking either. I've made a lot of mistakes in my cooking career. One of the mistakes I made one day was I wasn't thinking, and I put the pizza in without oiling the tray. And of course the pizza stuck to the tray completely. No good. No good, mate. No good at all. Disaster. Anyway, that's not happening tonight. Tonight we're going to be good. Look at that. Magnificent. Right, let's get some tomato paste. Now you're supposed to use tomato sugo or whatever. Haven't got any handy, so I'm just going to use some, one sachet of Lego's tomato paste. It's all right. It's tomato. Again, it's not the proper standard, but no, this is the Martian pizza, not some dude from Napoli. I mean, there's a million ways to make pizza, but there's probably only 10 or 20 ways to make Napoli pizza, but to make anyone else's pizza, sky's the limit. Like, you know, you got the Americans have got their way, and probably the Canadians have got their way, and the English, and everyone thinks they know, you know. They all think they know what's right, what's best. Do they know? They think they know, that's for sure. They certainly think they know. Italians think theirs is the best, you know. Napolitani think theirs is the best. Romani think theirs is the best. Who's right? Whose is the best? Well, you know, you can have a competition and everything, but at the end of the day, at the end of the week, it's a matter of a personal opinion. And what one person thinks is the best ain't necessarily going to be what the next person thinks is best. Put that away. Alright. Standard Australian pizza always starts like this. Tomato. On top of the tomato is always mozzarella. Always. Every pizza starts like this. Has to be mozzarella. And you know, you can get all anal about it or whatever. Mozzarella's just mozzarella. This is Aldi mozzarella, it's fine. Sure, you can probably get stuff that's a bit better, but whatever. It doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter. Put it in. And you don't want too much, like I've got a fair bit in there, but you don't want too much. Like the Americans put too much in, from what I understand, I've never had it, but looking at their stuff, it seems like it's just pizza and salami and tomato. Well, no, that's not really good enough in my opinion. It's not all about, it shouldn't be all about the cheese, you know. Cheeses are fine. You you know, mozzarella's nice, but it's not all about the mozzarella. It's mostly the dough is so important. It's all about the dough and all the other things. So, typical Australian pizza will have shredded ham. And when you buy your ham, your shredded ham, you be very careful what you buy, because you buy it from delicatessen, most likely it'll be the garbage ham. What are they doing in Australia? If you buy pizza in Australia, it's almost certain, unless you go to some unusual pizza shop, it's almost certain you'll get the shit ham. It tastes absolutely revolting. It's an absolute disgrace. And people that make that shit need to be strung up from fucking power lines. Because it's an insult. It's an insult to everything that is pizza. It's an insult to everything that is ham. Call it ham. It's not ham. It's worse than Spam. It's so bad it's worse than Spam, right? Just unacceptable garbage. And it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Even if you go to Woolworths and buy the shredded ham, it'll be that shit. Revolting. So don't do it. You've got to find a better source of ham, and Aldi, to their credit, can buy these frozen sachets of shredded ham, and it's proper ham. It's proper ham, it's not bullshit. The other thing you can do, I mean, ham is cheap, guys and girls. In Australia, ham is the second cheapest meat there is. It's cheap. So, use proper ham. And the only reason you don't use proper ham is because too much trouble shredding it yourself, cutting it up yourself, which is fair enough. But I mean, it's a disgrace on the part of the supermarkets, apart from Aldi, who sell the shit, sell the garbage. Shredded ham, it's all shit. It doesn't have to be shit. They could just as easily shred good ham. Well, it doesn't even have to be good ham, you know. They could shred mediocre ham and it'd be fine. Like the Aldi stuff, it's alright. It's not super incredible or anything. It's just proper ham. You know, what is it? Proper ham, is it $15 a kilo or something? Might not even be that much. It's not dear. I shouldn't have to be saying this stuff. In a proper world, in a properly functioning world, when you buy something, it'd be good, or at least it'd be reasonable. How is it that garbage can become the only thing available? Why? Defect in the system. Capitalist system is not functioning properly. It needs to be tweaked. It needs to be adjusted. Like, I believe in capitalism, but not the way it is at the moment. And you can fix it. I've worked out how to fix it. Go to my soapbox. Go to warrenmars.com. Go to the soapbox and look at fixing capitalism. I worked out a solution. Is anyone going to implement it? Not likely, I wouldn't think. But at least the solution is there, people. Don't have to have a revolution. We just need to adjust. Adjust some shit. Make some changes. And it'll function the way it's supposed to function. Like it used to function. You know, like in the first half of the 20th century, you know. Really up to about 1980, capitalism worked quite well. Quite well. Ugh. I didn't get that right. I'm a bit short on... That's weird. Normally when I make this, it just nicely fits around. But in this case, it's a little bit short in a few places. I don't know why. I don't know, but it was. Right, now we're going to put some pineapple. As I say, this is the Martian pizza. This is the way I like my pizza. You can do what you like. This is how I like it. So, I like hot salami. I like ham and mozzarella. And I like pineapple. And I like anchovies. And I like olives. It all goes well, you know. So the pineapple, the sweetness of the pineapple is what you need to contrast. It's great with the savoury all the savoury elements that are in the pizza. So you've got your savoury salami, and your cheese, and your ham, savoury, and the tartness of the tomato, and you know the pineapple's tart as well. It's also sweet, and just balances the other stuff really well. Just complements them, you know. It's just fantastic. Like, you don't have to put pineapple in every pizza. I'm not saying you have to put it in every pizza. Sure, it's great to have pizzas without pineapple. You know, they're good too. It's not compulsory. It's just that in this particular pizza, I like pineapple. Now, I'm just going to get some olives. The trick with olives and pizza is, well, trick with anything with pizza, don't let the dough get wet. Don't put wet stuff. So you notice that the pineapple is drained on the board before I cut it up and before I put it in. Got to drain it. You don't want wet pineapple and you don't want wet olives. So what I'm going to do is just put them in a strainer so that they can drain. So I've got a spoon here, and all I'm going to do is spoon them. I'm just going to spoon them into the strainer until I've got about half a cup, at least half a cup. Alright, quite a few there. I'll just shake them around a bit, just make sure all the water comes off. Like so. And we just sprinkle them around. Now you can decide how many of these you want, how many olives you like. I do like quite a few, and I especially like these olives. These are the Woolworths Spanish olives. Very nice mild flavour, but you know, olivey, it's good. Anyway, that's good. That'll do. I really like these. One of the few cheap things from Woolworths that are any good. Like, you know, Woolworths and Coles are totally about maximising the profit, screwing the customers for all they're worth, right? That's what they like to do. That's what they do. But every now and then, not very often, every now and then something sneaks through the net and you end up getting something good, which doesn't normally happen, but every now and then it happens. And that thing, or one of the things, is that is those black olives, because they're not expensive yet. I mean, I'm sure if they see this video, they'll probably jack the price up 100%. I've told you how much I love anchovies. They are fantastic. I love them. Just eat them raw. Fantastic. I know a lot of people have trouble. Oh, you know, the flavour of anchovies is too strong. Yes, it's strong. It's strong and it's fantastic. It's just incredible. And the oil. I mean, you can just eat the oil, because it contains some of the flavour of anchovies is in the oil. Magnificent. Right. Is that everything? I think that's everything. So, let's put it in the oven. And hope for the miracle. So, the miracle of pizzas is that you put them in the oven and they haven't risen that much. But you put them in the oven and you get this oven spring. If you get it right, if it's a good pizza and it's a good oven and you've done everything right, you get this oven spring and you get this beautiful rise in the crust. Nice springy crust which will spring up more than you expect. That's the miracle. Very different to bread. Now when you're making bread, most of it rises before you put it in the oven. You do get a bit of oven spring from bread depending on the bread, how you do it. But most of the rise is there before you put it in the oven. That's not true for pizza. Pizza's different. Alright, I'll be back in about 20 minutes. It should be done. Alright, it's had probably half an hour in the oven. You just got to keep an eye on them. Sometimes they want more, sometimes they want less. I mean, the proper pizza oven is like 500 degrees. It's very, very hot. Whereas this is maximum of 250. I had it on 220 fan forced oven. So, it's about no more than half the temperature of proper Italian pizza oven. So a completely different way of doing things really, and takes a lot longer to cook. And that's why you want, for a home oven, perhaps you want the thicker crust. I'll just show you how thick this is, because I believe in thick crust. Thick crust is the way to go, which is not the Italian way. Italians like thin crust. I like them thick. You see that? You'll see more in a minute when I cut it open and take a piece. If you're going to cut pizza, you've got to have a pizza cutter. No two ways about it. Got to have it. Oh look, there's a bit of fried anchovy from the top. And some olive. Nice. Salty. I mean, some people hate anchovies because they're so salty. But I like them like that, They're salty, it's good. It's good that they're salty. Yeah. Now, thick crust. Get it out of there. Seems to be caught up in the middle. It's got it. Right. Let's take another video. Right. Yeah, I think we can see some air bubbles there, which is good. And you can see that the pizza has risen. We've had some oven spring there, which is great. Right. The acid test. The electro Kool-Aid acid test. Pizza. This isn't the best pizza I've ever made, I've got to say. I think making them in winter is harder than summer. But they also vary, I don't know. You do your best, and one day you just slap it together and it's fantastic. Next day you put all this trouble in and it's garbage. This is pretty okay, but I have made better. That's good. Good. I reckon I could use more salt. more salt. Maybe I should have put a bit more salt in the dough, maybe. Maybe some more anchovies on top would have done the job. See the colour on the bottom? You know the pizza's done when it's got the right colour on the bottom. So you stick a knife in and you have a look. You want to have the right colour. You want to see a bit of browning there. You don't want to see it burnt. You don't want to see it completely brown. That's too much. You bite into it. No. And the crust just yields. You've got this yielding crust, which is the beauty of the thick crust. The thick crust, you get this thick yielding crust. You know. Look how thick it is. Like it's a good ½ inch thick, right? Which you don't get from traditional Italian pizzas, which are like ½ inch. Yep. It's not the best pizza I've made, but it's still good. Right? It's probably better than most of the, if not all the pizzas you can buy locally. It's probably better than any of them. I mean, there is one pizza shop in town that's okay. But you know, they use the shit ham. They still make good pizzas. That's one. The others in town, they're no good. So people say there's no such thing as a bad pizza. Well, yes, there is. Of course there is. There's loads of bad pizza. Don't eat it. So this is not my best pizza. My best pizza is absolutely fantastic, and you know, better than probably anyone's, or certainly as good as anyone's. This one's just okay. It's okay for me. It's okay, but for other people, maybe it's better than okay. But certainly better than most of the pizzas in town. It's not full of oil. Got plenty of flavour. You can taste the dough. There's plenty of dough, which is what the pizza's all about. Ultimately, pizza's all about dough. So, good, you know, good pizza. Not my best, but good. It's weird that. Just think about cooking. You never know whether you're going to produce your best or run of the mill. You don't know. But anyway, this is it. Martian pizza. It's very savoury. The pineapple's just a fantastic counterbalance to the savouriness of the salami and the ham. You know, fantastic counterbalance. You get some crunch from the crust, crunch around the outside, beautiful. Bit of tomato comes through, not too much. And, you know, the cheese is there, but you're not overwhelmed with the cheese. You're not overwhelmed. It's there, right? It's good, but it's not all about the cheese. The olives, fantastic. Anchovies. I probably used about 5 or 6, but maybe I could use more. I could maybe put more in. Good. Good. Haven't made pizza for a while, so it's good to do it. Anyway, that's it. Martian pizza. Look on with jealousy.